Many video games are nothing more than just a bit of entertainment. However, many companies running these games are more than just average people. They want money, and lots of it. Many developers stick to the safe, normal methods of getting money from their game, like Minecraft Java Edition, where you have to pay to play. However, that is only one source of money per person, too little for a private yacht, jet, and island. If someone wants to indulge in those necessary commodities, people will have to get a little more tactical with the additions to their game. C. Game developers have created a nasty surprise that is designed to surreptitiously, in a way that attempts to avoid or notice attention, yank every cent out of every child who dares look into the shop menu. Meet Billy. He is a small boy, around 11 years old. He is playing a video game just like 3 billion other people who are playing as well. That is more than 1/3 of the human population. This child looks down at his screen and clicks on it. Buy now. A single solitary tear runs down his face. The boy purchases a loot box for the 100th time. Businesses profit off of people and turn video games into money-making machines. The developers can do that by using loot boxes, which are packages that have a random chance to give an item, either good or bad. Buying loot boxes is similar to gambling and generates 96% of the game's profit. Although video game loot boxes are beneficial to some gamers and developers, they promote gambling, emotional distress, and financial harm. There are many ways loot boxes can cause issues, but there is one that is very dangerous. Loot boxes promote gambling. John Bennett concludes in the uncertain legal future of loot boxes that certain video game developers intentionally design loot boxes in a manner which exploits minors and fosters behavioral addiction. This shows that these malicious loot boxes promote an uncontrollable gambling and spending for in-game items. This is because of the random reward cycle, a very profitable but distressing strategy used by many games today. The random reward cycle is when your brain wants something and will not stop until it gets it. This means that when buying a loot box does not give you what you want, you are more likely to keep buying even more. If the loot box gives you what you want, you will get a rush of dopamine and feel happy. This means that you are more likely to buy even more loot boxes. Bennett continues, to further exploit this opportunity, these developers choose to program specific in-game items to be unavailable via direct purchases, coercing users to purchase loot boxes instead. It is no wonder that in a 2019 study, Zendle et al. Found that people who bought loot boxes over the past month struggled with more than twice the amount of gambling problems. This shows how far developers will go to make loot boxes generate more money, even if it means putting everyone at risk of gambling addictions. While developers might suggest that this forceful money making is necessary to continue the development of games, they could try alternative and less harmful methods. One such method would be having users actually pay to use the game. However, many game companies dislike that idea because having users pay to use a game means overall less players. A less stricter alternative would be using an in-game shop. This would mean that it would not have loot boxes, instead people could actually choose what they wanted to get. Even if loot boxes are the most profitable money-making method for a video game, the risk of gambling addictions is not worth a few extra dollars. Even though gambling issues could send one into debt, loot boxes can cause even more than just addictions. Loot boxes can cause emotional distress. According to Drummond et al., people who purchased loot crates had rates of severe psychological distress over 1.87 times higher than people who did not purchase these boxes. This provides evidence that these loot boxes were linked to mental illnesses. Not only that, but Bennett shows that kids with low self-esteem are more linked to video game character skins and therefore more likely to purchase loot boxes with skins. This means that video game developers are relying on teenagers with low self-esteem to make more profit. Drummond states that severe psychological distress was evident as soon as any loot box spending was reported, with a further gradual rise in prevalence rates as spending increased. Not only do loot boxes cause gambling addictions, but they also cause mental health issues. Even though game developers know about these dreadful effects, they have refused to remove them despite people complaining about the loot box's downside. Lastly, in addition to plummeting children into a world of gambling addictions and distress, loot boxes can also cause financial harm. A study by Ash et al. Shows that children are at risk of financial harm from loot boxes. For example, an 11-year-old child spent over $538 on his favorite game with loot boxes. Billy states the game just got better and better as I spent more money and I got addicted to it. I knew I'd spent the money, but I didn't know how much. Billy's story shows not only that loot boxes are addictive, but also that it is hard to keep track of spending. In fact, many games do not even have loot box purchases in the gamer's own country's currency. Furthermore, Billy's in-game account was linked to his parents' credit card so that he could spend as much money as possible on the game's loot boxes. This shows how loot boxes are dangerous for children. In conclusion, loot boxes promote gambling, emotional distress, and financial harm. This means that new laws should be passed to banish the loot box once and for all from every single game. Ban the loot box and let kids decide what they want instead of random numbers.